Hi there. Thanks for joining us today on our Unlock Learning series with Mobile Guardian. We're excited to be sharing some of the successes with this product and the opportunity to introduce this awesome solution to managing Chromebooks, iOS devices, even Android devices in your organization. Just a quick reminder that this is just one of the webinars in the series that's currently running, our Unlock Learning series. We've already gone through some Chromebook webinars that you can find on our YouTube channel. And the next one coming up is September for our Unlock Learning with iOS and Mobile Guardian within your organization. So thank you very much for making some time to sit with me today to go through this. So before we carry on, just a little bit of housekeeping. Please could you just turn off your camera and microphone on this? All questions will be answered at the end. So Nick is actually sitting in the chat and fielding these questions and compiling them for me. And then at the end, what I'll be doing is going through them one by one if there are any questions. And then also this webinar is recorded. So if you do want to go check it out, head over to our YouTube channel and this will be posted. And if you are on our YouTube channel, welcome. Cool. So just a little bit about me. I'm David. I head up business development here at Mobile Guardian, specifically around K-12 schools and assisting them get on board and taking advantage of things like our grant that's just come up. I actually come from an MSP background, helping businesses with digital transformation and really getting them over the line. So bringing some of that in to help on the schools making the switch. So just a little agenda of what we'll be going through today. Just a quick intro to who and what Mobile Guardian is, as well as the COVID-19 grant that we've got for K-12 schools in the US. And then also just a quick touch on a distance learning case study that we had now in the school about 2 months ago, where they were in kind of a situation where they bought Chromebooks and they wanted to send them home, but they had a great network at school and they needed a way to get some kind of cloud filtering and a way to keep students engaged. And the way we did that was obviously with our MDM side, our web filtering to help them build those unique e-policies that they had at school. And then also make use of the classroom management tool, which gives teachers that digital window to be able to see exactly what's happening on devices in real time. And then just a bit of learnings on that as we go ahead. So yeah, very, very exciting session today. I'm looking forward to getting you guys a little intro into this. So who and what is Mobile Guardian? So we're a cloud-based mobile device management piece of software purpose-built for education. I think what's great about us is that it really allows schools the flexibility and security needed in order to manage on-site and off-site devices. Over the past 10 years, we've evolved this product with the guidance and insight of not only school IT admins, but teachers, listening to what teachers want. And it's allowed us to build quite a unique tool in the sense that it can be managed by an in-depth, an admin person that this is their focus and this is what they need to do. But even perhaps a smaller school where there is a teacher looking after everything. The tools are simple and powerful enough to actually allow a teacher to be able to centrally manage these devices, but still carry on with their day-to-day job. Another great part of us is we're device agnostic. So, whether it's an Apple device, whether it is an Android device, whether it is Chromebook, the tools pretty much plug in across all of these devices. There's obviously some parts that might be slightly different, but overall, it allows schools to be able to maximize investment. So if they've switched to Chromebooks, for example, and they've got all iOS devices, it's not a matter of having two different providers. You can get longevity out of those old devices, or at least phase it out if you need to. We also have a great online support team that's with you every step of the way. So from setup, from initial to once you're set up and going, the help desk is always available to assist. We've got a technical pre-sales team that'll get you set up. So quite a hands-on support staff here. And then how does Mobile Guardian plug into all that? So obviously some of the tools we offer, so the mobile device management, the MDM, the classroom tools and web filtering. And essentially to facilitate blended learning, we have our classroom management tool, which is used to monitor and keep on top of your ongoing classes, as well as our comprehensive web filter, which is used to build your unique e-policies. And I'll be touching on this a bit later on. Another great part of it is our multi-school management. So district partners can also manage multiple schools within our portal. There's no need to jump across and log into this one. If you're a district admin, you're able to see all of your schools in one view and jump in and out and set district-wide policies and so on. And then one of our newer things is our parent dashboard that allows parents at home to build their own policies and build a way. Because, as a school, it's impossible for you sometimes to be able to as a school, it's impossible for you. Sorry, I just had a bit of a technical fault there. it's impossible for you to know exactly what every teacher wants and what everyone wants in that sense. So, it's a challenge to keep everyone happy, and the linked parent dashboard is a way that you can actually go about that. So, migrating into this digital learning environment, some of the challenges that we have, and some of the challenges for educators in school, is obviously buying into this blended learning methodology and incorporating distance learning into your school. And I think the problem is that some educators have always shied away from this, but right now have been forced into the schools, have known that they should have had some kind of blended learning program, but unfortunately, whether it was budget constraints, whether there wasn't a need, COVID has kind of accelerated this and caught quite a few schools off guard. And I think one of the big concerns is, how do we keep our students engaged while they're not at school? How do we make sure that the school year just continues as it should, even if they're sitting at home? And, the teachers very quickly say, well, I don't know, if I'm in class, I can walk around and check devices and I can see this. But when they're at home, I don't know what they're doing, and how can we get something to do? So the classroom tool speaks well to that. But then all of a sudden, what you're finding is, you've got these tools available, but because we're so late into the school year now, budget constraints is something that's a little bit of a challenge. Schools have already exhausted budgets and would only be planning for this now or into maybe 2021, and it kind of forced their hand. So some schools were finding themselves in a situation where they've had to almost take a risk in just sending devices home, and keeping the year going, trying to keep that continuity. But the risk then is students being exposed to anything, and that no e-safety that we're supposed to be maintaining. And obviously that is kind of where the grant came in, and we worked quite hard to get some of the supplementary funds to assist schools that need the solution like Mobile Guardian, that are almost there, but are limited by budgetary constraints. So, it goes without saying that 2020 has been an incredibly challenging year for educators, and recognizing these challenges, Mobile Guardian wishes to provide support through our relief grant. So I think what's so unique about it is that with school year budgets being pretty much exhausted, schools are being forced to take a chance. It's really become a little bit of a shining light to assist schools with these tools and get on board and get them going as quick as they need to. And with Mobile Guardian, also checking all the boxes for cloud-based web filtering, cloud-based teacher tools, the MDM to be able to centrally manage if these devices are at home, if these devices are here, to be able to centrally push that is so important. And it checks that boxes. And, with the added benefit of this relief grant, can almost make it a little bit more feasible for some schools. And, just to have a look at it here, which I'll send to you as well, it's just a little bit more about this grant that we've put together and why it's come up and why we push so hard for this, what it covers and what you can cover with this, especially around digital citizenship. It's really important that we start thinking about this. And then if you are, if you want to have a chat with me and apply for this, please go ahead and get this filled out. Have a look at the prerequisites, get it filled out. It'll come through to me, and then we can set up a call between the two of us to unpack it a little bit more and understand, what is needed. And then obviously once we're ready, we'll talk about things like time-based profiles, where, for example, you can set different ways the device can be used or different ways the filter kicks in. So when they're at school, during school time, things like Instagram or Facebook and ever. And perhaps after school, if you want the kids to be able to still use the device, you can become a bit more relaxed and say, okay, after 6 o'clock, they can go on Instagram, they can go on Facebook. You can build that kind of unique scenario, as well as, very important, the location tracking. So just knowing where these devices are at all time, to make sure that you are on top of that should one go missing. And then also just the classroom tools which plug in, which just gives teachers that window into the devices. So quite a lot to go through. And what I'm going to do is just go through a quick case study that we have, and then actually show you the tool in action and see on a high level kind of what I'm talking about and how this helped the school in the situation. So the school that we work with, I think it was about 2 months ago, was a school with 165 Chromebooks. They weren't one-to-one, they were all school-owned devices. And essentially they found themselves in a situation where they needed the school year to continue, and these devices now needed to go home. They had an awesome network set up, but no, they didn't have time to set up proxy access and allow students to kind of log in that way. So they were kind of caught with their pants down. And they needed something that could rapidly be rolled out. And they needed to take that awesome structure that they had, the policies they had set up, and ensure that when students are at home or wherever, that this is always happening. So they gave us a shot, and we managed to do this within a couple of days, which is quite incredible, and get them into position within 4 or 5 days to be able to send these devices home and know that everything's enforced. And, one of the ways that we did that is obviously it gave them the ability to not only see their devices, what's happening on it, so be able to manage it centrally. So if you had to go into this Chromebook here, for example, that's next to me, just the ability to see where a device is in real time, exactly what's going on with it. Things like device information, the ability to lock and disable a device, to message a device, gave their admin just a bit of ease to make sure that if a student says, hey, I'm missing an application on you, can you please take a look? You can have a look as an admin and say, okay, no, the maths application is on this device. Perhaps the students just moved it or something isn't there. It also means that from a cloud-based point of view, you can manage, for example, Apple and Android devices and lock them down. So, if you need to send home, for example, tablets, Galaxy tablets or whatever that you have, but, students don't have good internet and you provide 3G cards or wireless cards or whatever, you can also block Android phones and say, don't let them make phone calls off the SIM card, don't let them receive or send SMSs, as well as anything else that you'd like. So you can really build your own experience of how you want these devices to be used through our profile section here. So you can see on Apple devices, for example, I can block Safari completely or block specific aspects. If I want them only to use the Mobile Guardian browser, I can limit that and allow them to use it in that way. So very, very cool. And then obviously within that is also our premium web filtering. So with our premium web filtering, which is cool, it allowed this school and allowed multiple other schools to recreate their e-policies in the cloud and make sure that at all times these devices are secure. So if we jump into the web filter, you can see obviously on the landing page, there's certain things that you can do. Switch it on, safe browsing, YouTube filter, keyword filter, and you're able to basically build out with the categories here, your browsing experience and how you want your students to be able to access the internet when they're not at school, or even if they are at school. You can block specific categories. You can pretty much build this how you would like to, whitelist specific websites. So you'll see here, for example, I don't want any social networking during school time, but I don't want any during school time, but I do want them to be able to access Facebook, for example. So if we go back here and just test this, and let's say, for example, www.instagram.com, we can see that it's blocked by social networking. But now I just want to double check Facebook, and you'll see because I've whitelisted it, although it is still in a blocked category, I've whitelisted this manually, so Facebook is accessible. So you're able to build that browsing experience as you want to. We also have our YouTube filter, which allows you to be able to create a YouTube experience how you would like it to be used. So YouTube is definitely an asset when it comes to education, and just having the ability to be able to manage that experience is good. So you can block categories, you can block creators or allow categories and creators. It's entirely up to you. And then finally, just plugging in that keyword filter. The keyword filter is such an awesome tool. It's I think one of the strongest parts of this web filter, and it allows you to create an environment and a browsing environment unique to your school. So you might say, for example, I want to have a news website like CNN, but I don't want kids to be able to access violent content or terrorism, keywords like that, terrorism, sexual assault, something like that. You can block it so that when they're on CNN and they try and click on an article about terrorism, it picks up that keyword and it immediately blocks it. So it allows you to not totally block a website, but manage the way that website can be browsed, over to a more positive spin where you can set up keywords and alerts. So if a child goes ahead and searches, for example, self-harm or suicide, it'll pick up that keyword and you can set an alert to yourself and say, child X has searched for this 4 times this week. Please, will you set up an appointment with a guidance counselor? Just to have a look and manage this. So, that's always a more positive way that I look at it. It gives you that safety net, if a student is feeling that way. So you can see you can filter by website category, just some of the features that we use to support distance or blended learning with the school was obviously filtering by website category, the YouTube channel, URL, and building in keywords to be able to create your unique school environment, as well as main thing is upholding our e-safety policies and making sure that kids don't have access to what they shouldn't. The second phase of that was to get this classroom tool out and to be able to allow teachers to take advantage of this and make sure that the students are engaged, that they're staying on track. And the way we did that was with our teacher tool, or Mobile Guardian Classroom Management. So what this is essentially, it's a tool to work alongside Google Classroom if you make use of it, or Apple School Manager. And it allows teachers the ability to be able to manage their lesson. So make sure students get a live view into their screen, see what they're doing at all times, manage tabs, push content out. And if I jump in here and start a class, if you just give me a second, what it's going to do is it's going to launch this class on this Chromebook next to me. It's busy happening right now. I just want to accept it. So I've now launched this class, and I can see in front of me, and I'll zoom in now, I can see exactly what's going on this device in real time. So if the student's messing about in the browser, if they're on Netflix, for example, I'll be able to see that, and I'll also be able to see exactly what they're browsing at all times. So it's just a nice way for the teacher to be able to get a snapshot of all the students. So if one student's on Netflix and everyone else is in the class, you can very quickly correct that behavior by either, popping them a message, please get off YouTube, or putting the device into a locked state so that you can finish what you're doing and come back to the student later, down to being able to actually push out content. So a good example here is, I want to get everyone onto the history channel. And, it can be quite a challenge getting a group of 9-year-olds onto the same page. Everyone go to Wikipedia, for example. Half of them go to wikipedia.org. Half of them don't even know how to spell Wikipedia. How do you do this on a mass scale when you're not in the class? And one of the ways is this. So I'm just going to go here and say www.history.com, and I want to open it up. And what's going to happen on the devices is it's going to open up the tab. And what's happened now is I've actually got a block website Java. So this is actually pretty cool. So what you would normally do here is you'd have to reach out to your IT admin and say, hi, Mr. IT admin, I'm trying to do this part on history. I need this website available, and hope to God that this IT admin is available and you can do this quickly. What the teacher tool does is it allows teachers to actually self-manage this process and get it done themselves. And the ways that they can do that is actually getting access to the web filter for this lesson. So there's obviously under one of these categories that it is here, but now I need access to history. So what I'm going to do is I myself as the teacher, I'm going to whitelist history just for this lesson, that they'll be able to have access. So what's going to happen, I just want to show you the screen while I do this. The student is now going to close their tab, and if they now try and access history again, there we go. They have access to this. So it's really helping that continuity of a lesson. No breaks in the lesson, no chance of having to wait 5, 10, 15 minutes for an IT admin to do that. The teacher's able to actually manage this themselves and flick the students between different tabs. So it's very, very cool. And I think what's just from an admin point of view, if a teacher does whitelist something, all the events are tracked, all the events are there, and you're able to see what was whitelisted at any time. Another cool little feature of this is the activity timeline. So, as an educator, knowing exactly what's going on at all times in a class can be a challenge. You might be doing a test, and one of the students is falling behind on an assignment or a test. You can retroactively go in and see how long a student was on a specific website. So if you're doing a Google Classroom exercise and everyone completes it in 10 minutes and this student's taking 20 minutes and you didn't notice it, you can use this timeline to be able to see this and see who might need some extra help and reach out. So it's just a great tool for teachers to be able to take a retroactive look on and ensure that no one's falling behind, or identify if someone does need some additional help. So very, very cool tool. The the distance learning. I'm having a fight with my slideshow today. Very, very cool tool. You can see you've got live screen views and tab control. You've got screen share features, which I didn't even get to properly. That direct teacher messaging, get off YouTube, please, and stuff like that. Eyes up, put in the device into a lock set, and access to that browser analytics where, you can use that to be able to be a catch-all for things you might not even notice. I think the main thing of this case study, all those tools are wonderful. All those tools are great. Everyone can see the value in it, but we needed to make sure that, if we have this, can we get this out as quick as possible? And I think one of the learnings we found was that we were able to rapidly roll this out. So it showed us that with a solid plan of action, that it can be a reality to quickly shift to an available blended learning methodology if you have the right tools. And I think the key to Mobile Garden is our tools are adaptable. So the flexibility of these classroom comprehensive web filtering allows them to recreate their unique environment in the cloud. And then also the time of deployment, it literally took us a day to get them set up in Mobile Guardian and put them in a position where they can start building their policies and pushing it down to the devices. And also, once again, it's scalable. So whether it was 165 devices, whether it's 1,000 devices, with the right tools that we have and the ability to adapt the tools, a larger school is pretty much the same process to follow to get it up. So we've kind of standardized how we can do this. And then also, I say it again, my support team was there. They were on it. The technical sales guy jumped in, helped them get set them up correctly to make sure that once they're ready, they're set up for success and they're running. And then obviously, naturally, the questions came in where my support team came in and they were able to just keep them going and keep them up. So thanks again. I do appreciate the little bit of time you've given me today. And I just want to say that go ahead and head over to Mobile Guardian, to our website. We offer a 14-day trial for these tools, for the Pro Tools. Go and sign up. If you get a little bit lost, if you feel a bit overwhelmed, please reach out to myself. But I always say proof is in the pudding, and we want our clients to be able to make a proper informed decision before they purchase, because it is an investment, and we want you to see it as an investment into Mobile Guardian, because these tools are going to really improve and drive change and positive change on not only the Chromebooks and being able to manage them, but also getting your educators to buy in and to actually make use of these devices and maximize your investment. So please go ahead. And if you are feeling like you need additional systems, reach out to me so that we can set up some time to chat and understand your unique school and your unique setup and how we can recreate that in Mobile Guardian. I also encourage you to go sign up for the grant and have a look at it and see if this is something that can help you. It might be that last little hurdle that you've been struggling with. And with this grant, you'll be able to make the switch over to a very powerful tool to allow you to manage your devices. And then just a reminder of the next US part of the series, which is Unlock Learning with iOS. That is focused for our US audience, so it'll be a nice time zone. Please sign up for that. Nick will be popping you an email afterwards of that. Go ahead, sign up. And, we really want to encourage you to join and see how our iOS tools make such a difference. And with that, let's jump into Q&A and see what we have.